Hey guys, today we are in some very high intensity energetics. It is day one of a 2-day Mars-Jupiter opposition that actually comes exact to the minute tomorrow. Jupiter is retrograding back to Aquarius today, opening a 5-month window period for us. Mercury is moving into Leo, and the North and the South node are also changing degrees. So if you want to know what all of this means, what it's bringing for us today and tomorrow and throughout the rest of this week, you came to the right place. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey. Today is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021, and this is my astrological outlook for the day. Now, I have a lot to get through today, and I want to do my best to do it in a timely manner. So I'm going to list off what we have going on, and then I'm going to talk about what I list off, and then I'm going to talk about the Sabian symbols too, because they're telling sort of their own story for the day. But remember, as I go through this report, we're actually only in part 1. Part 2 will come tomorrow with the exact to the minute opposition between Mars and Jupiter. But today we're getting half the story, and so let me get into it. Number 1, like I said, we have Jupiter retrograding back into Aquarius today. This is definitely a shift in energetics that we're all going to be feeling. Number 2, in the process of coming back into 30 degrees Aquarius, as Jupiter retrogrades back to Aquarius today, he's also forming an exact opposition with Mars by degree. Now, the exact opposition to the precise minute is going to be tomorrow, but like I said, we're in the opening day of the Mars-Jupiter opposition. Third, we have Mercury, as I mentioned earlier, coming into Leo today. This is shifting the way that our minds are operating. Fourth, we have the nodes shifting degrees. So the changes that are happening today, the things that are happening today are directly related to us being able to release the past and build the future, move towards creating the future that is aligned with the divine plan, the universal blueprint for all of us collectively. And fifth, we have the moon in Aries today. And who's the ruler of Aries? Mars is the ruler of Aries. So the moon is activating Mars in opposition to Jupiter today. So on an emotional level, we're definitely going to be aligning with the Mars-Jupiter energetics, but simultaneous to that, Mars, or the moon in the early degrees of Aries, is also going to be forming a grand trine in fire signs with the moon in Aries, the sun and Mercury both in Leo, and the south node in Sagittarius. So what's going on with all of this is actually helping us to align with the future, align our minds, our souls, and our spirits, the moon, the sun, and Mercury, and release the past, moving forward to embrace the future. We are actually being blessed right now with these energetics with a profound opportunity to align with our own inner authenticity, our own personal integrity, and our own personal unique potential, and we're being given tons of inspiration and energy right now to create from that place things that can endure and bring us into our future. But we also need to be careful because there is a lot of polarity in this energy as well, and so there are really 2 ways that these energetics can go. And so we want to be very conscious and very self-aware as we're not navigating these energetics so that we can reap the rewards of them and not sort of like shoot ourselves in the foot or sabotage ourselves with them, because both of these polarities are very viable under these energetics. So let me get into the descriptions of what's really going on with this. So Jupiter retrograding back into Aquarius. Jupiter is going to be in Aquarius again. Remember, Jupiter just went through Aquarius, just began to come into Pisces, made it to the first few degrees of Pisces, paused, started retrograding back, and now is shifting back into the sign of Aquarius. So he will be in Aquarius for 5 months. So when I said we have a 5-month window that's being activated today, this is in relation to Jupiter. And Jupiter in Aquarius is really trying to get us to align with our own unique personal authenticity, our own unique gifts, our own talents, our own blessings, what we were born with that we have inside of us, and our own personal integrity, and also our moral compass. Jupiter really wants us to be coming from a place of authenticity, integrity, and morality as we cultivate our Aquarian unique gifts and potential and blessings, okay? and Jupiter is retrograding. And so Jupiter represents faith and belief and trust. And so when Jupiter's retrograde, these things are internalized. So over the next 5 months, this process is really working to help strengthen our belief in ourself, strengthen our trust in ourself and our faith in ourself, in our abilities, in those unique abilities, gifts, blessings, and talents. So what this process is doing is helping us to come back into our own authenticity, to realign what we're putting our faith in, what we're putting our trust in, what we're believing to be true, and simultaneous to that, cultivate a greater sense of self-trust, self-reliance, faith in ourselves and belief in ourselves. And this is important in the context of what else is going on this day as Jupiter retrogrades back into Aquarius. Now, not part two of this because I don't want to confuse you, because part 2 is coming tomorrow. But the second part of this activation, this transit today, is the opposition to Mars in Leo. And now here's where we need to be careful, because Jupiter opposition Mars has 2 very tangible polarities in which it can express and manifest, okay? This can be one of the luckiest aspects possible, and we really are being blessed with a tremendous gift if we use these energetics right, but it can also be a time that is just filled with conflict and foolish action, especially with Mars in Leo, if we are not conscious and self-aware of this process, of this activation, and of these internal drives, these internal motives. There's 2 ways that this energy can express. So Mars in Leo, this opposing Jupiter. First of all, Mars opposing Jupiter, this can cause things, Mars rules anger, Mars rules like a temper, conflict, aggression, over dramatization of things in Leo. So and Jupiter expands everything. So with this, there is a potential for just being overly angered, overly dramatic, overly impulsive, just doing things in like a very overblown way. Expanded anger, but it's in Leo, so it can also be very overblown ego that's causing these things. So, and just being way over dramatic and really just sort of like winding ourselves up. And we really, we don't want to use this energy to just like have a very hot temper or to just be like overly angry, overly aggressive. Like those are the things we want to watch out for. But on the flip side, and especially with the fact that Jupiter just retrograded back into Aquarius, we have the potential, this is also, Mars rules energy and passion. And in Leo, it's like pure creative passion coming from the heart, pure creative potential, pure like brilliance and ingenuity. So really at this period of time, if we're operating from the higher octaves of these energetics, it is absolutely the best window of time to like have the courage to follow your dreams, to a tremendously expanded ability and expanded energy to create from the heart, from pure creative self-expression, but it has to be aligned with that authenticity, that integrity, and that moral compass that Jupiter is talking about. And he's giving the ability to all of us right now to have increased faith in ourselves, increased trust and belief in ourselves and our abilities. Opposing Mars in Leo, really just igniting that creative potential within us. So really, if we want to make the most out of this Mars-Jupiter opposition, we need to channel this energy creatively and align with what it go through that Jupiter process of aligning with our own unique special talents and gifts, and then we have this tremendous expanded energy to actually follow through and take action and create with them in a way that can move us towards a successful future, that can help us build our future in the way that we want it to be, with the North Node moving as well today. So expanded energy to create with passion from the heart, inspired creativity, and we can really, really tap into creative potential with this. And this is also in another sense, expanding, like it's expanded protective instincts over what we create, and over children as well are a major feature of this chart today. A lot of emphasis on protection and passionately over children or over what we're creating. So we're very connected and passionate about our creations and about what we're cultivating right now with this as well. And we're being given an enhanced ability to really believe in ourselves and to have the courage. And with the moon in Aries today as well, that is also aligning our emotions with this action that we can be taking to really harness our own personal, unique, creative abilities, creative potential, and act on those, put them into practice, use them, create something that can start moving us in the direction, in a positive direction, for realigning our lives essentially in alignment with that authenticity and that ability to provide and create a life for ourselves in alignment with who we truly are, based in our own personal, unique, creative self-expression, Mars and Leo. So that is really a big dynamic that is going along with these energies today. But we have to remember that generally, unconsciously being activated, there's just a much greater tendency right now to experience elevated levels of anger and aggression, and people just generally acting out and being very impulsive as well. And remember, we also have Mercury moving into Leo today. So, this is happening pretty divinely timed. Mercury is our mind. We're getting our mind in the game right in time for this activation. So really and we need to be careful with our words as well, because Mercury rules communications. So with Mercury moving to Leo as this activation is going on today, it's also possible that some of that overblown, over-dramatized, overly passionate anger or aggression or potential for conflict or just foolish choices and decisions could be being verbalized as well. Verbal conflicts, verbal arguments, verbal over-dramatizations coming through in the messaging with and from other people as well. So another thing to keep in mind, because remember, Mercury is in Leo, we also have the Sun in Leo, and Mars is in Leo for the last 2 days, making this opposition to Jupiter. So we have that. So yeah, with the Sun and Mercury alongside of this, it's our mind and our energy is in this Mars-Jupiter opposition right now as well. So that even ups the creative potential even more. Our mind is thinking along these lines as well. So this is a couple of days where we really have so much creative potential, divine inspiration, creative inspiration just coming to us, and we need to be able to act on it. And we're having creative ideas and thoughts, and we need to be able to communicate them and to act on them in a way that is benefiting us in creating the future the way we want it to, because we have the nodes shifting degrees today as well. And they're moving us in the right direction with this, aligned with the universal blueprint. So what we're building, what we're creating under these energetics are moving us in the right direction of our future, because the nodes are shifting with this as well. But one thing that we need to be aware of and watch out for is the degree that the North Node is moving to is 9 Gemini. And that Sabian symbol or energetic depiction that basically describes the way that the energetic operates and gives us a better idea of what is being activated generally with this transit. This degree is a quiver filled with arrows. So again, this can go 2 ways. Are we going to sabotage ourselves with this energy? Or are we going to use it to defend and protect our homeland, our heart, what we're creating, our passions, our pride, Leo, and our own unique gifts and talents and potential that we are cultivating and that we want to be able to use to stabilize our lives, really. Remember, we still have Saturn in a trine with the North Node, and so that is being activated as well, and Saturn is the builder, and so we're actively building the future with this. And what we're doing now, whichever way we go, whichever choice we make, this is moving us, and this is building our future. This is creating and manifesting our future with this. So we have, are we going to use the quiver filled with arrows to defend our beliefs, to defend our passions, to defend our right to create what's truly in alignment with our authenticity and in our heart? Or are we just going to shoot ourselves in the foot with this and sabotage ourselves by being reckless and overly emotional and overly dramatic and overly aligning with our ego instead of with the like unconditional pure nature of our heart center energy? Which way is it going to go? And also remember, we do have the black moon in Gemini, so we generally right now are experiencing enhanced polarities across the board, really, especially in terms of the mental planes of things. A lot of polarities, a lot of contrast going on, and this is represented in this chart today as well. And then again, we also have that grand trine going on with the moon, Mercury, and the sun in Leo, and the south node who recently moved to 9 degrees of Gemini. 9 degrees of Sagittarius, where the south node is. So, the moon, that's our soul, the sun is our spirit, Mercury is our mind. And so today, with this activation, with these energetics, we really have an alignment going on. It's a trine, and trines facilitate things, and they help things happen with ease. And so we have this just naturally occurring process today of our soul, our feelings, our emotions, and our spirit, our vitality, and our mind, and our thoughts aligning in such a way with the south node that is helping us to release the past as a part of this process, which makes sense. Because if we're being inspired to create something new right now that's coming from our heart and that's much more in alignment with our authenticity and who we truly are and the path that we're building forward, then this actually alleviates us on a soul, spirit, and mind level to let things go that maybe we felt like we needed up until this point. But now that we're finding and being inspired and getting this new faith and trust and confidence in ourselves with the Jupiter retrograde moving back into Aquarius to pursue our unique individual Aquarius talents, gifts, potentials, Jupiter, and we're being inspired and passionately so, Mars and Leo to act. This does something to help us move away from the things of the past and release and feel confident and have the courage to do that. That's really what Jupiter retrograde is helping us to do right now, is to become reacquainted with our faith in ourselves, our belief in ourselves, our self-confidence, and what we are having faith in, believing, and trusting externally as well. This is over the next 5 months, we're all going to be going through a process of reassessing what we believe to be true, and simultaneously coming into a stronger and more aligned faith and belief and trust in ourselves. And it's telling us that we really have the opportunity right now to build the future in the way that we want it to go from what's inside our heart and soul. And we have the energy and the motivation and the passion right now to get it done. So if you're feeling inspired to do something or to create something or to take a risk or to step out and to take action, this is the time to do it. This is the couple days to do it. Just make sure that you're not operating out of your ego and that it's truly what is in alignment with your heart and your authenticity, and not someone else's dream, but truly yours. This is making dreams come true energy right here. And if we do this right, so many dreams can be built and created right now. And it's the process of transitioning into the age of Aquarius. This is a part of that process, and we're going to be doing this over the next 5 months. And the fact that this is the energy present on the day Jupiter retrogrades back into Aquarius tells us that this will also be an undercurrent of this whole process of Jupiter being in Aquarius till he comes back into Pisces in 5 months. So really big gifts and blessings today, as long as we don't let it go to our head and act out of anger. We need to channel this energy creatively, and then it is like the blessing of blessings to help us make our dreams come true. Okay, now next part of this report, I need to talk about the Sabian symbols, because they're really telling their own story today, and I feel like it's important. But remember, we don't have the whole story. I actually haven't even had an opportunity to look at the energetics, like the Sabians that are going to be activated tomorrow. So I don't even know what part 2 of the story is right now. But I want to talk about what the Sabians are saying. Again, there are 2 very distinct ways that this can go. There are 2 very strong polarities. There's some big contrasts in these energies. So I'm going to read the Sabian symbols that I'm talking about, and I'll tell you guys. First of all, I guess I should say the degrees of Mars and Jupiter today, they are talking about, for this opposition, their Sabians are talking about hidden vital information necessary to heal and restore balance and peace. Okay? And this is in Leo and Aquarius, so it's for the people. We also have a theme of protecting children or regarding children in these energetics. And also, you know, this is not my favorite things to talk about, but it's like unavoidable, really. There's also themes going on that can possibly be relating to the current health crisis that we've been experiencing for the past like couple of years now, and also the medical intervention by needle that is the proposed treatment, the most accepted treatment for it right now, and the potential for this to be causing even more controversy and divide amongst the people. And also with these energetics, I do see that a potential that we may see some like real serious attempts at mandating this treatment in like the coming weeks. But on the flip side of this, also like a very huge backlash to that, just this very big contrast and polarities being spoken about in part 1 of the Mars Jupiter activation Sabian symbols, that looks like it could be referencing this very huge contrast between beliefs, Mars and Jupiter, and what people want to do. Action, Mars, beliefs, Jupiter, action, Mars, with these energetics in effect today. It seems like in the Black Moon, also in Gemini, bringing up polarities. It does seem like this could be an issue that we might be facing, okay? So let me just say the Sabian symbols real quick. First of all, we have an old-fashioned woman and a flapper. That's the degree of the sun today, 6 degrees of Leo. So this is like a conservative viewpoint and a more progressive or liberal viewpoint, sort of like juxtaposed against each other, an old-fashioned woman and a flapper, the like older, more traditional ways against like the progressive and the new ways. So this is being spoken about just as a theme that the sun is talking about right off the bat. And then we have Mercury at 2 degrees of Leo today, an epidemic of mumps. So I mean, this is talking about obviously like an epidemic, right? And then we have the degree of, let's see, what else do we have that I was, and then we have the degrees of the North Node and the South Node that are switching degrees today. And that's 9 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius, and 9 degrees of Gemini is a quiver filled with arrows. And this really could be a very strong reference to that, that inoculation. And then also the South Node, a mother with her children on the stairs. So this is obviously like a mother protecting her child, or child being emphasized. And you know, we have the North Node, the quiver filled with arrows, and the South Node, the mother protecting her, or the mother on the stairs with her child. So, you know, you put these together and it kind of looks like people are thinking and talking about this epidemic that's going on with Mercury there, the sun, the old-fashioned woman, and the flapper, like these two, the traditional versus like the more progressive viewpoints. And then the degrees of the North Node, the quiver filled with arrows, and also the mother on the stairs with her child. So, you know, there's an emphasis, or this could be in relation to that inoculation, or it could also be people being very aggressively defensive against it. So just by the way these are playing out today, it seems like we could see something, or a greater contrast and a greater polarity like between that, just because there's such a dichotomy that's talked about. And that quiver filled with arrows degree really could go either way. You know, people really saying that it needs to be done, or people saying that, you know, being very, very, very defensive against it. Either way, it still brings up this like enhanced polarity. And with the mother with her children on the stairs, that could be, you know, children being brought into it more and more, and people, you know, with the Mars and Leo and all the Leo energy right now as well. Leo rules children. So it could also be talking about, you know, this being more emphasized or like brought to the children more, and people having a very strong reaction either for or against it, and it bringing up these like societal polarities that are really just causing these clashes at this time with Jupiter opposite Mars. So that's another thing that, you know, seems to be active. Yeah, we may see attempts at mandates with this, but it could draw a big, huge backlash with this energy, you know, because the quiver filled with arrows, a lot of people are going to be wanting those arrows because they feel that it's in the best interest of their health. And a lot of people are going to be shooting those arrows at anybody who tries to get near them or their children. So, you know, and another theme of Mars and Leo opposing Jupiter is like heat spreading, and that degree, the epidemic of mumps, that's also talking about things spreading. So things are definitely spreading, information spreading with this as well. Now the Sabian symbols today for Jupiter and Mars, those are important as well. Jupiter is at 30 degrees of Aquarius. This is moonlit fields once Babylon are blooming white. And Mars is at 30 degrees of Leo, and that is an unsealed letter containing vital and confidential information. So actually over this 5-month period, and today with these energetics activated, like I said, I mean, moonlit fields once Babylon are now blooming white. This is, you know, after like insane amounts of destruction, coming back to peace, balance, and harmony, and being able to bloom again, and an unsealed letter containing vital and confidential information. This is, you know, the information that's been withheld, that's very vital in order for this peace and balance to return. So we may be getting some big information with this as well, with this activation, that is triggering in some type of way either this massive push to mandate these issues, or causing a greater even so dichotomy in people's passionate feelings about them. So just something to note that I felt like I had to bring up, because that was the first thing that jumped out at me when I saw these energetics. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, and this is definitely another theme with this, okay, is, like I said a minute ago, heat spreading. This is, you know, expansion of heat and fire, and it's expanded fire energy. And we have Mercury, the sun, and Mars all in Leo, and with that opposition to Jupiter place, I expect, like, in terms of just like weather, I think that we're going to be in some very, very hot days with these energetics and all of the fires that are going on and stuff. Unfortunately, this energetic is not going to do anything to calm those down or to stop those. In fact, we may actually see an intensification of the fires and of the hot weather while this is going on, because Mars rules fire. Mars is in Leo, which is fixed fire, opposite Jupiter, which expands everything. And we also have Mercury at things spreading, you know, heat spreading, mumps, it's a rash, spreading fire. And the sun is also in Leo. So with all of that Leo energy right now, Mars in Leo and opposing Jupiter, that does not let me think that there's going to be any type of relief in terms of heat that's going on right now. And just something to be aware of, you know, it might intensify over the next, you know, week as this plays out, just because Mars is in fixed fire. We have Jupiter expanding it. So I wanted to throw that in there as well. So that is basically what I have to say for today, you guys. Overall, though, you know, yes, like there is a lot of potential for conflict, anger, aggression, and people being very impulsive and over the top, and like I said in the beginning, overly dramatic and just really acting out with this. Also, people very, very passionate about defending their beliefs. Remember, Jupiter rules beliefs, and people are going to be very passionate about defending what they believe in and their loyalties with this as well. So we need to keep that in mind, and we all need to do our best to be having as much self-awareness as possible, because if we're doing this and if we're using this energy properly, remember, this is dreams coming true. also. Dreams coming true based on our true authenticity, what's truly in alignment with us, what we were truly born to do, that is being activated if you tap into it with these energetics and don't align with the lower octaves and the ego and the misconstrued passions and misconstrued like anger and outlets. Introspection with this, self-analysis, self-awareness, and putting your energy towards creating the life that you want to have, that this is never a better time. This is the time to do it. So you guys, that's my report for today. That was part 1 of these energetics. Again, you want to tune in tomorrow because we're going to be talking about part 2 and seeing how this wraps up and what the climax is, because tomorrow will be that exact activation. Today we are building to the climax, but tomorrow is really going to tell the whole overall story. So that's what we have going on. We are beginning this 5-month period right now, reassessing our beliefs, reassessing what we put our faith and trust into, and really coming into alignment with our own unique talents, gifts, blessing, potential, and being asked to have faith and trust in ourselves, and to use those things to recreate our future in a way that is more in alignment with who we really are, and to release the past in the process. And we're doing that organically today with the trine between the sun, the moon, Mercury, and the south node. So if you guys liked my video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. I'm sorry I haven't got to check them in a few days. I've had some family in town. I've been really busy, but I'm going to get to it soon. And ring the bell every time you want, or if you want notifications every time I upload a video. And definitely tune in tomorrow so we can see how the second half of this transit wraps up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you all a beautiful day. Go make your dreams come true. This is the energy to do it. See you later, guys.